Well, good day, my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? I hope you said great. Today we're coming to you from Minnesota, and what brought me here today was the really fascinating story I heard about a church here. They have a prairie park that has a church that has a very fascinating tie to the Titanic. Now, as many of us know, Titanic is one of the most well-known tragedies of all time. I think it really, there was a movie about it. They've covered it in many different ways, but I think it's one of those stories a lot of people can relate to. They could see themselves being in that situation, taking the trip of a lifetime in some instances, or in today's case, just trying to get home, what people encountered and the decisions they had to make, the ways that many of them perished. 1,500 people died, many unaccounted for, many bodies unidentified. So it's a really sad story, and I think anytime I hear of anything involving one of the families, it always kind of pulls at my heartstrings. And I found out about this prairie park having a church that they will, give us a tour of and tell us a story of. But it's a really sad story about one of the families on the Titanic when it sank. So, Daze with Jordan the Lion and you all, it begins right now. They have many buildings out here, and I believe they do host a walking tour of it. So I really want to get a look inside this Finnish Apostolic Lutheran Church they happen to have here on the grounds. It wasn't originally here. I believe they had to go through quite a lot of trouble to move it, but it is preserved here as part of the park. So yeah, we are free to go in and look around the church. I'll tell you about it. They wanted me to let people know that this church is available for weddings, funerals. If you even want to just do wedding photos, it's $50. So if you have an attachment to Titanic, if you're in the area, this is a good way to help keep this building around and to give it a new life. So this is the Finnish Apostolic Lutheran Church. It was built in, I believe, 1865. Let me see. No, 1886 actually. It is dated on there. And the significance of this church is that there was a heavy Finnish population out here, and the man who was the pastor of this church was a man named William Lahtinen, and he had a wife named Anna and had a little young daughter named Martha. And sorry, I have like bees swarming me right now. But they decided to take a family trip out to Finland. And while they were there, apparently their daughter died from meningitis. And they, of course, had to bury her. They were absolutely grief-stricken and ended up missing their boat back to the United States. And so they had to detour and take another boat to Southampton, England. And once they got there, they ended up booking a trip back home on the Titanic. And unfortunately, when the iceberg hit the Titanic, his wife, Anna, was invited to, of course, get on one of the rescue boats, but her husband, of course, could not. And so she decided to join her husband and not get on that boat, and their lives were lost. They were never identified, they were never found, and their legacy is pretty much in this church. So it's amazing. They do have a service once a month. Or I think once a year. They will open it for different occasions, but It was a functioning church for a long, long time. Sunday school services, and now they have some of the history of the family, and we can tour the inside now. There you can see Finnish Apostolic Lutheran Church, built in 1886. The same exact church that they would have prayed in. The use of tobacco is forbidden in this church, also dogs. They do have a little display dedicated to the family. You can see here, this was Reverend Lawton, and she was 2 years old, their little daughter. Parents buried her in Finland and perished on the ship. It's so sad. I mean, if you think about it, what was his wife to do? She had already lost her daughter. Now she was going to have to say goodbye to her husband. What a grief-stricken life that would have been. You know, you watch the movie and you put yourself in their position. It's just a horrifying thing. And then to see the footage of the explorations down there and what's left behind at the bottom of the sea, it's incredible. As a family, they would have all prayed and worshiped in here, not knowing that when they were to take a family vacation, that none of them would return. They did tell me that they have several buildings here on the premises that really need repairs, have leaks, things like that. So if anyone appreciates the history out here and would like to help support and help get the things repaired, or has the know-how and can help with materials or anything like that, they would be very appreciative. Lost his life on the Titanic. But I do think that's amazing that they said, you know, they give it a new life by having moved it here and making it available to weddings, funerals, things like that for a very, very small donation. I want to go explore some more of the park, because they said this park is kind of interesting because in the doctor's office they have something you don't normally see at an outdoor pioneer museum. Here's an article about the history of this church here and the Titanic. As we're walking out, they have a little bit more of the history here. It says this is the original Crow River Finnish Apostolic Church, built in 1886. It has a unique interior of embossed tin sheets. Yep, you can see that right there on the wall. That's on the wall and on the ceilings. And it says in 6 different patterns. The outside is also covered in tin sheets. The pews are handmade from white pine. The back pew, which faces the back of the church, was near the warmth of the wood stove to allow mothers and children to sit there. Interesting. I did read that the church pews here have no nails also. It says the pump organ was gifted to the church in 1895, and it's still played occasionally for the small services they have here in weddings. In 1912, the minister of this church took the trip to Finland with his wife and daughter. And then, of course, like we talked about, they all perished, unfortunately. It was moved from its original site in French Lake to its current location here. So those are the pews. I actually didn't even notice that the very back row of pews was facing the warmth, whereas the rest of them are all facing forward. which means Anna and Martha at one time during their services would have sat here. They do a lot of school visits, so they get a lot of kids here, and they always say that they ask the kids to draw a picture of what their favorite experience was here, and most of the times it's the doctor's office. Katie and I were just watching Big Fish, and I kind of feel like visiting here, you're kind of like walking into the town of Spectre. Here's the firehouse. Show you, just a couple of things that they have here because I want to help promote the museum. That's always the number one thing. Tell you the stories. For those of you that can't get out here, share it with you. But for those of you that can, I always hope that I can get people to come out and visit the museums. This is the Dr. Sleigh from town. Here's the barber shop. Let's see if there's anything fascinating in here other than that really cool barber pole. Yeah. I love these walk-through type things, like smoking section, cigars and pipes. And that's where everybody would have kept warm. Got your haircut there in the barber chair. A couple of different styles of barber chairs here. And much like in the Western movies, get a haircut, a shave, and a bath. Nice taxidermy. And a spittoon on the floor. Let's go find the doctor's office. You're probably like, man, you have really built this up. Okay, over here is the general store. Sardines, 3 for 12 cents. Very cool. There's the safe back there. Meat grinders. Take a load off and play some checkers here. Oh! I was like, what's in this? I know it's before phone booth, so. Here's the dentist. Holy moly. I'm having flashbacks to Little Shop of Horrors. That drill, look at that. The drill has a foot pump. See that? The drill's hanging here. Wow. Says this was used in the days before Novocaine. The foot drill, I guess is what it's called. Foot powered drill. And it says, note the wrist straps on the chair. Ooh! Yes, indeed. Right there. Leather straps. All right, let's see. This is, I guess, the doctor's office that we've been building up for you guys. You're like, what's so cool about it? Well, they said they have someone in here named Henry. Diphtheria. that. That is a real skeleton. She was showing me some of the kids that had visited it, drawn pictures of the skeleton. That was their favorite part. It's the real deal too. Wow. Very cool. Very interesting place. I love it.
The story goes with the skeleton that the doctor actually knew who the skeleton was.
Oh.
But he took the identity to his grave.
Ah.
And when I started working here, I named it Henry. So every morning when I open the doors, I say, "Good morning, Henry," and "Good night, Henry," every night. And I found out from one of the members who has been here since the 70s when the park started that it's not a male. It is actually a Native American 17-year-old female.
Oh, wow.
So I then named it Henrietta.
That even asks more questions. Why a 17-year-old Native American? Like what did she die of that maybe there was a reason he kept for study or something, or who knows?
Know.
Yeah.
None of us know. But the reason he used a human skeleton was because back then people didn't realize.
Yeah.
So he would show them which bone was broken. He could show them.
Absolutely.
You know, it was
a diagram,
medical.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome to have that, and the kids love it.
Very, I bet. That's fascinating. And over here, we have the newspaper, the Annandale Advocate. I like the signage. I'm always a fan of old signs. Let's take a look inside. Oh, wait, it's not just that. It's also the jail. Why is that?
Because back when there wasn't as much crime.
Yeah.
So you didn't really need a big jail.
Oh, yeah.
People took care of crime themselves. But print shops worked at night.
Oh.
So they could watch the prisoners at night.
Oh, interesting.
Their morning paper out.
Wow. That's a whole thing of history I had never heard before.
Yeah.
That the print shop would watch the prisoners because they were working at night.
And then printed works.
Oh, wow. And it still works. Wow. That's great. This place is fascinating. What an amazing history here. And there's the jail. If you're anywhere near here, please come visit, take a tour, make a donation, help what they got going on here. I believe this was all, from what I read, it was all started by a local citizen who just wanted to save some of these buildings. These jail cells are from Peavers, South Dakota. Peavers located on the Lake Traverse Reservation, home of the Sisseton Wahpeton Sioux. Interesting. Let's take a look over here. They have, oh, this is Town Hall. We'll go to the Town Hall over here and then hit the funeral parlor. So as soon as we walk in, that's probably our notary public. No hunting without permission sign. Oh, they have a lot of women's suffragists history in here.
To Minnesota because it's the only one in Minnesota.
What do you mean?
Well, there's only 11 funeral parlors in the country that are museums, and we have the only one in the state of Minnesota.
Oh, wow. Dutton Funeral Parlor.
And they are really, he was the funeral undertaker here.
Oh, okay, so he was the local. Wow. Ooh, gee. Take a look at all They talk about mourning etiquette here. That would have been a casket for a child, baby, infant. Viewing veil.
That's actually a cooling table and an embalming table in the back.
Wow. That's the embalming table. Wow. How do the kids react to this part of the museum, just out of curiosity?
Well, a lot of them are a little freaked out and a little creeped out, especially when they see the infant caskets.
Yeah.
And then when I tell them that it was customary to take family photos during funerals.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they took pictures with the deceased child. Hence the reason you can see the child in this photograph laying down.
Oh, wow. I believe that because I went to Mexico and they have mummy museums where they would mummify their family members, and people go and tourists take photos with the mummies, and it's very, in fact, they're like, do you want us to take your photo? So it's definitely a cultural thing.
It is. It's not something we do anymore, but
not
normally.
This is an infant removal basket. It says, with childbirth taking place at home, most deaths at birth and infant deaths happen in the home. The funeral director would bring a basket to place the infant in for removal and transportation to the funeral parlor. Now she just asked if we were interested in finding out about the haunted building.
Usually the trapper's cabin, and there is an upstairs, and there is a basement. And the animals were kept in the basement.
Did they walk them through the house, or was there a separate
there was
entrance? 1880s. You said this is, or you feel haunting stuff? What makes you sensitive to that?
I'm just a little uneasy in there. Especially upstairs. So this is the trapper's cabin.
Wow.
They would have all slept upstairs, and the door right there goes upstairs.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. If you want to, you can. If you're brave enough, you can go there. There's a little lock at the top.
Yeah, we might as well, huh?
Yeah, give it a whirl.
Very tiny stairs. Oh, there we go. Have you ever heard anything, or just you get the weird vibe and feel?
There is a story. You see that bed up there?
Yes.
No one has a clue how that got there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It had been cleaned out completely upstairs, and there was like nothing up there. And then one day there was a bed.
No kidding.
Yeah. And no one has fessed up to putting it up there.
Wow. That would definitely lead you to some odd feelings, that's for sure.
Well, it's not really this part that creeps me out. It's the other upstairs.
The other upstairs?
There's two of them.
Oh, pretty big cabin then.
Yeah. Yep. And on the wall are newspapers in French. And you can see they're right here.
Oh, yeah. Probably used for insulation for a time.
Mm-hmm. And in 1902, they ordered their house off the Sears and Roebuck catalog. And this is the house that they purchased.
Oh, a kit house.
Uh-huh. And then they added it onto the cabin.
That's very cool. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the two upstairs.
Right.
Wow.
And they lived in this house until 1970.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the loom?
And that's actually a horse blanket.
Oh. Yeah, I guess it would have kept you warm, that's for sure. Wow. That's pretty cool. I like the fact that they built a kit home onto a trapper's cabin. It's ingenious. Talk about the ultimate man cave.
Right? I'll take you upstairs if you're interested.
Yeah.
Okay. The story goes, two of our ladies that do a lot of the cleaning and work out here were upstairs cleaning. And there's no electricity, running water, anything in this house. And they were cleaning up here in one of the bedrooms, and the wallpaper right there fell off the wall.
Oh.
And then it went right back up all by itself.
What? Wow.
Now, I believe the story because I work with the two ladies.
Yeah.
And then, so this would have been like a kid's bedroom. This would have been the parents' bedroom. And another story, which I'm not sure how true it is because I didn't get it firsthand, but people have seen, or guys who do the lawn mowing have seen people in the window.
Oh,
A
wow.
lady staring out the window.
This was her bedroom.
Probably. That would be my guess.
And you always have the curtains drawn, correct?
Yes, to save
On the
artifacts
heat?
from the sun, because everything breaks down so bad from sun.
Yeah. Ooh, that's even crazier, huh? Wow. Oh, wow. If you like Titanic history and you like hauntings, this is your place. Well, my friends, I hope you all enjoyed this vlog today. This was a lot of fun for me. I got way more than I bargained for. I just came out mainly to kind of explore that church, and then the extra buildings, the extra stories. That was a blast. Come out here if you're anywhere nearby Annandale, Minnesota. We will see you next time. Have a great night and goodbye.